It is The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan, and today we are live from ACC Football Kickoff in Charlotte. ACC Football Kickoff coverage on 99.9 The Fan is driven by Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford. I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox here in Charlotte, along with me, Graham back at the studio, keeping us up and running. And, there's something you can learn from ACC Kickoff.
So a few things.
First of all, we're going to be talking to players and coaches throughout the show, so you can learn a lot of insight from that. We've already spoken to the head coach of UVA, Tony Elliott. We've already spoken to Virginia Tech's Dorian Strong. So those conversations and more will be coming to you throughout the show. But also, you can sense first of all, a little bit of I don't know if it's excitement or anticipation. There's something here because Stanford and Cal are here.
And SMU was here yesterday.
SMU's here yesterday, and it's just a little unknown.
Yeah, it's a little different.
We're going to be talking with Justin Wilcox, the head coach of Cal, and I'll give you a little insight into what my first question is going to be. Justin Wilcox is from one of the first families of Oregon football.
Okay.
His dad played at Oregon as a Pro Football Hall of Famer. His brother played at Oregon. He played at Oregon. He's coached in the Pac-12. And I'm just going to be like, isn't this kind of weird that you're here? Right? Isn't it just?
It's got to be.
It's got to be a little strange. And everyone, to their credit, everyone that we've spoken to has downplayed it and just, I just want, just focus on football and just one game at a time and we don't care where they come from. But there is something different about this year in the ACC. And you see it even by how the ACC is decorating.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Conference of Quarterbacks. It is very opportunistic what the ACC is branding themselves as. The Conference of Quarterbacks, they're also standing on their coaching success record, right? Because it's two of the three active head coaches to win a national championship coach in the ACC.
That's true.
You don't have to mention that Nick Saban retired this offseason.
Doesn't matter.
That makes it much easier for everybody, right? Or that, Mac Brown and Dabo, combined for one more than Kirby Smart. So it's I'm saying it's opportunistic. Mm-hmm. You look at the lay of the college football land, which is always shaking, and the ACC is trying to take advantage of it. The other thing we're seeing a lot of is that it's the Conference of Quarterbacks.
Oh, yes.
There's a big sign right over there that I can see that says Conference of Quarterbacks. All the little, information stands have stats about how they're the Conference of Quarterbacks.
And toughest non-conference schedule.
And tough.
Of any of the power conferences.
That one you can't fake. But the Conference of Quarterbacks, I think it's funny. I'm going to read you some of the stats. Top-ranked group of quarterback transfers in 2024 by CBS Sports.
All right.
I think that's a little ironic to brag that you didn't develop them. Next up, 13 quarterbacks entered 2024 with over 20 career touchdown passes and 3,500 career passing yards.
Okay.
Grayson McCall is on that list.
Sure. Cam
Ward is on that list. We're going to see Cam Ward walking around later today. It'll be the first time we see him as an ACC quarterback. Grayson McCall will be here on Thursday. It'll be his first time as an ACC quarterback. 8 quarterbacks are projected to start week 1 in the 2024 NFL season, 25% of NFL teams. I believe that is counting Aaron Rodgers and Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Who
legends now.
Who never played a down of ACC football.
ACC legends.
It's just
much like Larry Fitzgerald and Tony Dorsett and now Marshawn Lynch,
John Elway,
Andrew Luck.
They're all of them. They all are.
Christian McCaffrey.
There you go, Christian McCaffrey.
Mm-hmm.
I look at what they're doing here, and you can sense there is a I don't know if it's a land grab or a war or a battle in the headlines going on in college sports right now. But so much of it is perception is reality.
Yep.
Right? If the powers that be, if the fans, if the media departments believe that the SEC is stronger than the Big Ten, it almost doesn't matter if the SEC is actually stronger than the Big Ten or not, because the media companies and their media deals are willing to pay more for the SEC because they believe it. So the ACC, what I believe they're doing, and here we talked about it yesterday with they need a ACC version of Paul Feinbaum, is they're starting to try to tell their own story And it's almost like if the details don't add up perfectly, who cares, right? It's like, should we claim Aaron Rodgers as an ACC quarterback?
Yeah.
Probably not. Like
No.
if you add up all logic and you get some smart people in a room, that's Pac-12.
No.
That's Pac-10. But logic and reason has gone out of the realm of what you need to worry about here.
Context doesn't matter.
Instead, it's just about who can tell the story the best. And the story the ACC is trying to tell this weekend is we have the best quarterbacks, we have the best coaches, and we aren't afraid of anybody.
Yeah.
And it is literally giant, like, placards and banners and posters say in big letters, Conference of Quarterbacks. They hype up their coaching experience, and they say toughest non-conference schedule of any conference. And they're just going to smash us over the head with it so we come on air and do exactly what we're doing right now and pass it along to all of our listeners. and we can look up and down Radio Row here and say, if you get all the people here to talk about it, that's good business for the ACC.
They spin zone it however you want to, all those kinds of things. Now, some of them, like you mentioned, with the schedule, like that's just factual.
Can't fake that.
Like you can't fake
You
that.
actually have to go play those games.
Yeah, you do. And you can look at win percentages and all those things. Like, no, like that's how this works. So that is true. Now, how you want to claim with ACC quarterbacks and all that kind of stuff, like are you considering Russell Wilson an ACC QB? Like,
yes.
Reggie say,
yes.
Of course. I mean, from the ACC, yes, absolutely. He played a majority of his career with NC State. So, again, you can spin zone this any way you want. And I think a lot of it is just the ACC trying to direct the narrative about what they are on the field, because the conversation about ACC is, quote-unquote, like on the field, they're not that good. Like, when in reality, they actually are.
Yep.
And I think we all understand that. Like, if you just watch the games, you can say, yeah, ACC is actually good at football. It's not just a basketball league, but I think it's also, especially with everything going on with like Clemson, Florida State, all those kinds of things, like, hey, you know what? Let's talk about this other stuff. And one of the conversations going around that we've talked to a lot of people is just how Jim Phillips addressed Florida State and Clemson yesterday, like how he was very direct and stern. And a lot of people around here, like, about time Jim Phillips showed a little gumption when it came to that. Like, literally, like put it on the table.
And that was my first reaction. We talked about it yesterday. It was good for you, right?
Yeah.
It's that moment where the bullied finally stands up and is like, "Listen, man, you're not taking my lunch money today. Like if I have to throw a punch, I'll throw the first one. I don't know if I'll win the fight, but like I'm gonna go down swinging." And there's something uplifting about your commissioner playing his role of the commissioner, because the hard part is, like, we're going to talk to a whole bunch of ACC movers and shakers. We're going to talk to coaches. We're going to, here at ACC Kickoff in Charlotte, we'll bump into people and ask questions. And, like, on the record, these other schools just can't say what I would want to say in their situation, right? Like, you can't say, like, gosh, Florida State is the worst, because you're a conference member, right? And, it's not your place. But you do kind of want your commissioner to say, they're acting pretty terrible. Like, you want your commissioner to vocalize that, because because he's the commissioner. It's his role to be that level-headed voice.
Now, there's certain things he can't say because, legally, can't discuss certain things. But for him to basically, for lack of a better term, told Florida State and Clemson, quit your whining, shut up. Like, you guys
I wish he could
to
say
this.
it that way.
He said it in a very...
In a commissioner way.
In a very commissioner way.
Translated its commissioner-ease.
Like, basically kind of do like the angry translator, like Key and Peele, of basically like, y'all need to shut up, quit your whining. You guys signed this thing twice, which I think he very much mentioned multiple times today. Hey, you signed the grant of rights twice.
You either believe in what you signed, or you got to be quiet. That's basically what we got after
look,
that.
You can keep whining, spend a bunch of money on legal fees, and you're still in the ACC, or you can just shut up, find different ways to make money yourselves, and still be in the ACC. Either way, you're still in the ACC. So if you're stuck here in the situation, either you make the best of it or keep whining and pouting.
Do you know? And I actually thought about this because they're not at ACC Media Day. Do you know who isn't complaining about the ACC media rights, or the ACC won't let us leave, or we're not getting the money we want?
Everyone else?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, yeah.
And by the way, I want Notre Dame in the ACC.
Oh, as do I.
But they were a group that was forethinking when they didn't just jump into a conference, because, like, if Florida State and Clemson maybe thought more like Notre Dame 50 years ago, and then 40 years ago, and then 30 years ago, and then right before they put pen to paper on the latest grant of rights, they would be a little bit more content. Instead, you're part of the ACC, the Conference of Quarterbacks.
the ACC that you helped form, basically.
True.
Like what it is today, like you guys helped create this.
And the ACC is counting all your quarterbacks in those stats, so appreciate it.